My name is Geraldine Hughes. I was the legal secretary in 1993 for Barry Rothman, who was the attorney of Evan Chandler, the first accuser that came against Michael on child molestation. I was working for him. He hired me, and I came in for an interview one day, and he hired me for the job as his legal secretary. I was the only legal secretary for him. He was really an entertainment attorney, and he had a history of being a good negotiator in the entertainment field, though. Whenever Evan would call Barry Rothman's office, Barry Rothman would tell us to put the call on hold, and he'd walk all the way back to his office, shut the door, and that's how he took all of Evan's calls. He was the only client he did that for. Anybody else call, if he was away from his office, he'd just pick up the phone and say, okay, woo, say what he had to say, and then he'd hang up. But he didn't do that with Evan. Evan was always behind closed doors. It started out a custody issue. Evan Chandler wanted the custody of Jordy because in order to coerce a child into saying something that's not true, you need time with that child. And he never gave him back. He kept them. He never brought him back. And during that time that he had him, he came into my office and he was behind closed doors with my attorney, the Jordan Chandler was. I actually opened up the door one day. I was leaving and I opened up the door and Jordy was in the back, and he kind of looked a little startled because I looked and I saw him and I was like, nobody in the office knew that he was even there. We were like, how did he even get here? And I opened up the door. So I had a few encounters with Jordan Chandler coming into the office, and to me, it just looked like a coaching session. But Evan had a desire to be a filmmaker. He was trying to get the money so he could make a movie. He said, I'll contribute that to your film project just to give you and your son a chance to mend, because at that time, Evan was saying he's stolen my son's affection. He put that in the paperwork. He said, my son is being starstruck by this superstar. He's stolen my son's affection. And so Michael just simply said, I can promise you 3 days later is when we got the breaking news. So he never took him back. He took him to the doctor that he had already queried about molestation. After the allegation hit, prior to that, they were on opposite ends, because June never did agree with the allegation. But after the allegation hit, they were meeting in my attorney, David Schwartz, June Chandler, Evan Chandler, and my attorney. They were all meeting behind closed doors in my attorney's office. And I heard Evan blurt out, he says, my ass is in danger of going to prison right here. Inside the law office, the only thing they were asking for was money. Where's this money? How much? They were sending discovery in, and the discovery was only trying to find his money. I was crazy too. I'm like, y'all just looking for money? You're not looking for justice? You're only looking for money? Michael Jackson lost two very important motions that he should have won. One was a preference. Preference has to do with either he was too young to remember and there's a memory issue, or he's too old. Jordan Chandler was 14 at the time. He wasn't too young or too old. Evan Chandler was asking the court to push the civil case while the criminal case was going, because normally the criminal case has to take precedence over the civil case. He shouldn't have won on that one, because constitutionally that went against Michael's constitutional right. He won on that one too. When the judge is not ruling in your favor, that tells an attorney, maybe we need to settle this because he's not ruling in our favor. And Johnny Cochran came on board. He was negotiating with the insurance company. At first the insurance company said no, they weren't going to pay it. And he went back and forth, and Johnny Cochran negotiated. He was a great negotiator because he was a PI attorney. He started out a PI attorney, and he convinced the insurance company to pay the settlement. When Michael settled the case, the judge, they made him drop his extortion claim. So the real story hasn't been told. The real story is that Michael Jackson was the victim of an elaborate extortion scheme that launched the false allegation. A civil case is only about money. If they, and I tell people this too, we're in a state where they could have went after him criminally and came back after the money. all they wanted, a lot of people think because he settled the civil case that voided the criminal. That's not true. It did not void the criminal. The reason they never came after him criminally in '93 because they couldn't find any corroborating evidence to agree with Jordan Chandler's story. As a matter of fact, they found out that the description he gave of Michael's body was not accurate. If that was accurate, that was corroborated. See, people need to know they never indicted Michael in '93 because they couldn't come up with enough evidence to indict him. And so the way they're spinning it, well, oh, he settled, so that voided the, no, it did not. If that prosecutor, Tom Snedden, could have found anything to corroborate that boy's story, he would have still gone after him criminally too. Okay, thank you.
Now then, she's got, Geraldine has the most incredible story about Michael Jackson. So you take it over. This is the book that
Yes.
Geraldine has written. You can read it for yourself. But that's a little bit what's going on.
Redemption, the truth behind the Michael Jackson child molestation allegation. I'm the author of this book, and this is the book that basically proves that Michael Jackson was not a child molester. This is the real story about Michael Jackson back in 1993 that talks about the extortion scheme.
And it's behind the scenes.
Behind the
because
scheme.
You were behind the scenes. Geraldine was behind the scenes, and there was things that were going on, and 2 and 2 didn't make 4, and you were very young at that time, and you picked all this up.
Yes.
What was going on, because you said it doesn't make sense.
Right. I worked for the attorney, Barry Rothman, that framed Michael Jackson. The whole child molestation allegation was actually an extortion scheme that launched the false allegation. It started out Evan Chandler wanting $20 million so he could make a movie.
Now, Evan Chandler was the stepfather of the boy?
He was the father of the boy.
Oh, he was the father.
Yes.
He was the father of the boy.
The father.
And he created this because he wanted all this money for a film.
For a film. He wanted to make a movie. And Michael wouldn't give him the money because he said, why should I give you $20 million? But, what a lot of people need to know that he didn't originally come to Michael saying, you molested my child. He originally came to Michael saying, you stole his affection from me. You're a superstar. I can't compete with that. So I need the money to make a film so that me and my son can connect back and, I can...
This sounds like a little bit of a blackmail going on here.
Yeah, it did not turn into child molestation until Michael wouldn't give him the money. Then the whole thing, it all shifted.
And then so the father accused Michael Jackson of molesting his son.
Right.
That's quite. And so what made you decide that you're going to now open this up and because that was in what, 1993?
93.
That was in 93.
Right.
We're now all the way over to 2019. That's quite a long time.
It's been a while.
But how long has the book been out?
I released the book in 2003. The reason why a lot of people, it didn't really go out like it should have, because in 2003, they came against Michael with the second allegation. So the lie was out there, and the lie always seems to get more attention than the truth.
Well, that's people always want to see the bad side of you, not the good side. That's human nature, it seems like.
Yes.
It seems like we're all kind of, look how they did this, and they were bad on this, and so how great they did this. And so I'm the great person. I love to build people up, and I think you do too.
Yes.
And so you decided in 2003 so obviously the book at 2003, when this other allegation came out,
right,
then the book was kind of squashed a little bit.
Not really. I was out there in major media. I did ABC, NBC, I did Fox, I did Geraldo. Bill O'Reilly gave me the last word. I did 2020. The fans sent me all over the world. I did Wendy Williams when she had a radio station. Yes. And I was out there, but like I said, the lie gets a little bit more attention.
Yes. So now you've decided to come back out with it. How long have you been trying to get this now back out again?
I realized in 2009 when Michael died, we're now going on the 10-year anniversary of his death.
Yes.
But I realized when he died that I had more than a book, that I had more than a story, that I had a movie that needed to be made.
Now listen to those words.
A movie to be made, because the world needs to see the elaborate scheme that they put against Michael. They need to see it, because they need to see it from the inside the way I saw it.
Now this is really, because you very rarely get somebody, and I don't know if you're going to be in the movie, which you probably will be in the movie, but somebody who actually knows the truth.
Right.
Because you actually have, you were given it, because she was the secretary, right?
I was the legal secretary for the attorney.
For the attorney that was accusing Michael. So this all kind of, so you know exactly, so
Sure.
you know how each person has to play the part.
Sure.
And you know exactly all the lines. Well, you've got it written in here, but she's got all the lines, she's got all the action, she's got all the people. So you've got all, and it's a movie that actually is not really going to be all over the world. It's going to be more as in one place, as a legal place, are the courthouses and the offices.
Right.
So it's not
absolutely.
It's not a movie that has to be all over the place.
Right.
It's kind of in a very unique area of the story.
Absolutely, yeah. It mainly unfolded in Los Angeles, California. It's going to touch into some areas because Michael did some traveling with the,
of course,
not the 13-year-old accuser. Michael did traveling with the whole family. See, the
whole family of the 13-year-old.
whole family, the mother, Jordan Chandler. There was a daughter, and then it was the boy, Jordan Chandler.
And then Michael paid for it all.
He paid for it all. He lavished the whole family.
Really?
It wasn't just the little boy or him trying to pull the little boy to the side. No. He loved the whole family.
Yeah. So with the movie, have you? What has the response been for the movie?
It's overwhelming now because now that ever since this Leaving Neverland we call it a mockumentary and we call it a movie where they were obviously acting, but ever since they decided to keep they've decided to keep the lie going, and we're like, the lies are not going to stop until the truth is told. I call this the greatest story never told.
And also, I'm going to bring up one more thing. What was it? $1 million? How much was? What was the settlement? 16?
The settlement was $20 million.
The settlement was $20 million, but as Geraldine said, Michael Jackson never paid the settlement because Michael Jackson was innocent.
Right. His insurance company.
Yeah, he didn't pay off to get rid of it.
He did not.
He didn't pay off because he was innocent and he didn't. So that's got to give you, anybody out there, a clue right away that that wasn't the case.
The media tried to make you think that he paid the boy off.
Yes, and he did not. He did not pay. See, that's why I wanted to bring that up, because he did not pay it off. They just made the settlement to close the case down.
They settled the civil lawsuit. The criminal investigation never produced.
Well, it was dropped. It was never there.
It never even produced an indictment because they could not find anything else to corroborate with the boy saying, other than the hearsay, he molested me, that was it. They tried to do a body search where the boy said he knew what Michael's private parts looked like. When they did the body search, it did not match.
So it was a complete lie.
Yes, so they couldn't even indict him in '93. The only thing Michael settled was the civil lawsuit.
The civil lawsuit, but he didn't settle it. His insurance company said it was nothing to do with Michael, and they just got rid of it because obviously Michael, in his position, would have insurance for anybody coming to attack him on anything.
Absolutely.
You know, I mean, of course he had that because he was a personality. Hello, he was definitely a personality. Amazing man. You never met Michael, right?
I never got a chance to meet him. He did when we were in preparation of releasing the book. I wanted this photo to be on the book cover because this was given to me when I went forward and talked with Anthony Pellicano. I went and talked with him while I was still working for the attorney. He was so appreciative that I came forth to tell him what I had to say. He took this beautiful picture off the wall and gave it to me. This is the picture he gave to me.
Oh, how amazing. And that is a gorgeous picture.
And so when I decided to do the book, I said, I want this picture to be the cover. And it took a while for me to get the okay. When they found out that the holdup with the book was the picture, I got a call from Joe Jackson, and he said, "You tell Mrs. Hughes she's got permission to use the photo." And then when I met Joe, I said, "Joe, how did that happen?" He said, "I called Michael, and I said, Michael, the lady that's trying to put the book out, she needs permission." And he said, Michael said, "Well, of course she's got my permission."
Now you have all that in writing.
No.
You don't. You just have word. That's
but
fine.
I do have, Joe did, rest his soul. May he rest in peace.
Yeah.
He figured that down the line, he was protecting the project down the line. He did give me a letter. I have a letter signed by Joe saying that he not only supports my book, but he also supports the movie project.
So you do have it written.
Yes,
you
I do.
Yes,
Yes,
you
I
do have.
do.
And the reason I want to clear that, because I don't want anybody thinking that they can sort of grab this book and read it and start making a movie. Because if you do, you're in trouble. Right there and then.
Big trouble.
Big trouble. From this young lady right here. Well, you're now. So the next thing we want with the movie is if you want funding for the movie.
Yes.
And I don't see anything. I think people would jump on this because of your connection with everything that happened. And you actually saw it with your own eyes.
Right. A lot of people, we're tired. They're tired of the lies.
Yes.
They're tired of the fact that they're trying to come after Michael when he's not even here to defend himself.
Yes.
So they're sick and tired of all the lies and the schemes. They want the truth. Right now, people are knocking on our doors. They want to be investors. We don't have an actual investor at the table where the money is there yet. But well,
that's because you're testing out to see how legit they are. I mean, you can't just bring money in and just be, whatever.
And we want to be able to tell the story our way. We want to be sometimes all money is not good money. We want to be able to. We want the person that's putting the money on the table, that they're putting it there so that the truth can be told.
And yours, and the truth is sitting right here with me.
Absolutely.
Geraldine is amazing. Geraldine Hughes, absolutely wonderful to actually come out with this book, because you never know, there's people out there that do strange things, and you can be on the line and things can happen. So you've come out, and she's had a tremendous amount of support, and of course obviously we're supporting her 100%, and of course Valentino, he's going to be here a little later. And we've got his support as well. So we've got a lot of support going on with this. And I've definitely got my support. I think this is absolutely remarkable. The thing I absolutely love is the truth. Anybody lies to me, it's not that they're in trouble, I just don't see them again.
Okay, they're in trouble.
I just don't see them again. No, I've always had this truthful thing, I don't care how bad it has to be, but the truth. As long as it's the truth, it doesn't really matter. But look out for this book. This book can be, you can buy this on Amazon, right?
Yes.
Amazon Redemption, Michael Jackson, The Real Story.